Hello, I wish you a wonderful day and welcome to this walking podcast. My name is Robert Ajanna, and in today's story I want to talk about coffee. And so first of all, as a disclaimer, I quite like coffee. It's something that I didn't like a couple of years ago. I could never really understand why people were drinking coffee. The taste was so bitter and to me quite disgusting. So I was wondering, I was asking people, so why do you actually drink coffee? And of course what quite some people told me was that it's just simply a way of, staying awake or getting the engine going, being able to be productive and a good worker, and just getting the things done. And but that was not really my motivation to start to drink a coffee. It was just more that I gradually just got to appreciate this bitterness, and I started to find it quite appealing and interesting to taste. But then, in the cup, like over the time, and with like different phases of life, with having to write a master's thesis and my study program and the associated stress, I realized for myself that I gradually switched from drinking one coffee to quite a few coffees a day. So I would say maybe my personal record was 5 coffees a day. Then of course not every day, but I noticed that my consumption pattern was changing. And having that deep interest in me when it comes to sustainability, what is very connected to me, is consumption and the way we consume goods, services, products, food. Essentially, there is, at least in our Western lifestyles, this inherent unsustainability because of the tendency to overconsume goods and services. And for me, therefore, coffee is a really good example to look at when you want to think about your own personal lifestyle and your own consumption pattern. So for me, I was asking myself the question, why did I suddenly start to drink more than one coffee? And what does it take me to reduce myself to just one a day? And the underlying idea is that if I like coffee for its taste, for its maybe even its tradition, to have it served in this cup in the morning, signaling this very special moment to me, then what do I need to be able to enjoy this beauty of just one cup of coffee a day? So this is something this is the core message of this story that I want to share with you, dear listeners. And if you happen to not be a coffee drinker, which can very well be the case, then think for yourself of something that is, or that has become a daily routine, a habitualized behavior that is related to consuming a certain product, food item or beverage, whatever it is. And then think for yourself, how much do you consume of it? How much would you like to consume? And why don't you consume exactly the amount that you intend to consume? And so for me and my coffee consumption, I noticed a couple of things. First, when I prepare my coffee, I actually don't or rarely drink it black. So purely. I always tend to put something inside. Like that can be milk, or recently I tried to be a vegan, so I added soy milk or rice milk, oat milk, all these various substitutes. Sometimes I tried cream, soy cream, milk-based cream. And so that made me think, actually, how much do I really value and love coffee if I'm not able to drink it black? So maybe I actually don't like coffee. That was interesting to me to think about it. And is that actually something? I would really like to do a survey on this one. So if you're listening to this episode, to the story right now, and think, I'm a coffee drinker myself, I'm a little bit of an addict, then please do share your coffee consumption pattern. I would really like to do a small research on that one, and especially thinking and looking at how do people drink their coffees, and how does that correlate, or how is it related to the feeling of satisfaction that the people have in their day-to-day life. So do people, for example, or are people who drink their coffee purely black more satisfied with their life than people who add milk, sugar, and who prefer to not have their coffee in the most simple, most natural way possible? Right. Let's get back to the second point. So after having realized that I actually don't drink my coffee black, I try to change that one. I try to now, whenever drinking a coffee, I try to drink it black. To save resources, of course. We all know that coffee itself is already a very resource-intensive product to consume. It takes a lot of water in the production process. It uses up land, and often in areas and regions that are far away from the actual consumption. So there's a mismatch between, like a physical mismatch between the places of production and consumption. Because we in developed Western countries tend to consume a lot, but we hardly grow any coffee. So that makes the product coffee not a very sustainable product to consume. So of course the best thing for if I want to be sustainable, the best thing I could do is to stop drink coffee and maybe switch to tea or maybe just water. But then the second point, there is something to that coffee that I quite value, which is in the morning it has become part of my routine to get up and have this good cup of coffee while doing something else, which is the next flaw that I realized for myself. I tend to drink coffee while doing something else, and then that got me thinking again, do I really value the coffee? Would it not be better to just drink my coffee and just sit down, be in a convenient position, and just let go of things, and really focus and dedicate my attention to my cup of coffee? I must say it's really hard. This is something. So switching from the milk-based coffee to the black version was quite doable, I must say. It got me a bit, but eventually I got it. But doing nothing while drinking a coffee, this coffee to be, that's like something I really like to paraphrase for. So it's not the coffee to go, but it's the exact opposite. It's the coffee to be. the coffee to be in the moment, in the presence. And I'm still struggling with it. I don't know what to do. I had an interesting conversation with a friend, and he actually told me that maybe you don't have to consume a coffee to be. Maybe there is activities that you can do aside without losing anything that you value in the coffee. For example, he gave me some examples. Listening to a podcast or an audio message while drinking the coffee. So there might be tasks and activities that are not mutually exclusive to drinking the coffee. And I agree. I tried it out myself. I was drinking my coffee while listening to a story, and that quite worked out well. I still felt the attention on the coffee, but also on the story. Maybe because it's both trigger different senses. So one triggers, my tongue, the senses on my tongue, whereas the others, the story triggers my senses of, hearing and listening, the vocal senses. Yeah. Whereas, for example, if I compare this listening combination with drinking the coffee and the combination of drinking the coffee and reading, that's different. For me, it's harder. It's harder to enjoy my coffee in its purity when reading. Yeah. So you see, let me have a look. Like 11 minutes that I've been talking about this coffee story, the singularity of a coffee, and I hope that there's something in it or to it that you find valuable or worth listening to reflect on your own coffee consumption, of the quantities, the number of cups you drink, why you drink them, why you need them, and what it would take you to reduce yourself, or maybe not to reduce, but to focus yourself on just one quality cup a day. So my name is Robert Ojana. I'm signing off for the Walking Podcast in this story about the singularity of a cup of coffee. I wish you a wonderful sunny day. I hope it is as sunny in your place as it is here for me at the moment. Have a beautiful rest of the week. I look forward to hear all your reactions, all your criticism, all your feedback, and I see you at the next story. Goodbye.